So if you're in the market for a pocket camera today, these are the current two big contenders: the Insta360 Luna Ultra and the DJI Pocket 4. Now, I am fully aware the Pocket 4P is on the way. I currently actually have it, and alongside a full review, I will be comparing it against the Pocket 4 to see what's new, and the Luna Ultra to see which comes out on top very soon. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for that so you won't miss it. But for now, let's take a look at the main design differences and special features between these two. Image quality comparisons, things I like, dislike, and more. And let's start with the design. In terms of storage, for carrying them around, the Insta360 Luna Ultra comes with this protective cover for transport, whereas the DJI Pocket 4 instead uses a small gimbal clamp, which must be installed and then inserted into this soft pouch. I much prefer the quick convenience of the Luna's protective cover, allowing you to quickly store it in your pocket and offering better protection overall. I really wish DJI had stayed with the older protective cover that came with the Pocket 3. From a design perspective, it's very much a case of copying homework. Both feature the camera and gimbal system up top, which we will talk more about shortly, a rotating screen to see what you are recording, which is capable to be used in horizontal or landscape mode, although curiously, out of the box, rotating the Luna Ultra screen instantly turns the camera off. So I recommend going into the settings and changing screen rotation operation to keep powered on. There are also similar custom buttons which are programmable to do things like lock the gimbal or recenter it, a button or slider to zoom in, with the Pocket 4 jumping between zoom levels with each press, and the Luna slider smooth zooming between each level, as you can see. There's also a joystick to move the gimbal and a start-stop record button. In terms of startup time, the Pocket 4 is faster if the devices have been switched off for a while, meaning you can pull it out and capture shots quicker. However, if the Luna has only been off for a short while, the startup time does get faster, obviously making use of some sort of sleep mode. The Insta360 Luna Ultra is also taller, chunkier, and heavier than the Pocket 4, and while you do notice this small increase in weight when holding it, I haven't personally found that makes a difference in terms of fatigue when holding it for a long time. The main difference in terms of functionality is this super useful detachable screen on the Luna. If you press these red tabs on either side, you can detach the screen along with the buttons, giving you a remote where you can check the framing from a distance using the screen, start and stop recording, enable tracking, adjust all settings, and even turn the device on and off. If you're a solo creator or someone who films alone like me, this is an incredibly useful feature as it allows you to set the Luna down and get shots of yourself at a distance without constantly running back up to the camera to adjust the framing or just guessing and ending up with misframed shots. The detachable remote also has a hidden feature. It has a built-in microphone, which is what you're hearing the audio from now. And it works up to a range of, well, let's find out. At 30 meters, everything is still controllable and I can still see the preview on the screen. Okay, I'm now 100 meters away from the Luna. I can still control the camera. I can still change the settings. I can still change the zoom level. You can see how far away we are. And honestly, I don't think you're ever going to be further than 100 meters away from the Luna, and the little controller still works. Now, it's also worth mentioning that in my testing, I have found the battery off the little remote once it's detached lasts for around 1 hour, with the screen constantly powered on before you need to place it back on the Luna and it will start charging again automatically. Both devices have a USB-C on the bottom for charging or to remove media files, although they also both have an extension which adds a 1/4-20 thread for attaching accessories and moves the USB-C port to the back. Insta360's version also comes with little tripod feet, allowing you to place the camera down, standing up on flat surfaces. Lastly, both cameras also feature internal microphones. However, the Luna Ultra features this removable wind guard which can significantly reduce wind noise. The only criticism of this is it faces away from you when vlogging, meaning it won't be helpful when taking those vlog style shots. However, it does give you something to rest your finger against, meaning you won't accidentally cover the microphone hole like you might on the Pocket 4 without realizing it. So, while ease of use and functionality might be better on the Luna Ultra, equally important is the image quality. And straight away, you can see a big difference between these two pocket cameras. The DJI Pocket 4 has a single wide-angle camera with a 1-inch sensor, whereas the Luna Ultra has two cameras. A wide-angle, also with a 1-inch sensor, but a second 3x telecamera with a slightly smaller 1/1.3-inch sensor that can zoom all the way up to 12 times. But let's first compare the wide-angle. Both the Pocket 4 and Luna Ultra's main camera has a field of view of 20mm, and on screen now I am going to be showing you a range of unedited comparison shots in different locations and lighting conditions. And on first watch, you might notice the footage looks quite similar. However, the first objective difference is the level of detail, as the Luna Ultra is capable of recording up to 8K 30fps, or 60fps if you drop it down to 4K, while the Pocket 4 maxes out at 4K 60fps. And this jump in resolution becomes really clear to see when enlarging the footage to 300%. There is substantially more detail from the Luna's footage. Although, as with the Pocket 4, when filming in vertical mode, the Luna Ultra also drops the max resolution down to 3K. I honestly don't understand why this is the case with an 8K sensor. The only way around this is to hold them sideways instead, with the Luna automatically recognizing this and indicating it has entered true vertical recording mode. I would say, from looking at a range of footage captured between these cameras, the Luna provides a slightly more saturated and contrasted image, definitely noticeable in the shadows, whereas the Pocket 4 has a slightly brighter overall appearance. The Luna Ultra also has slightly more background blur due to the main camera having a smaller aperture of f1.8. Moving over to the second camera on the Luna, and this is a 3x 60mm equivalent tele lens. But the way this little camera utilizes these two lenses is genius, because as you zoom in, it automatically switches between the two to give you the sharpest image possible. So at 1x, you're using the main wide-angle camera. At 2x, this is a lossless zoom, still using the main camera, but because it's lossless, unlike a digital crop, the image quality and resolution still remains the same as when you're capturing at 1x. When you change to 3x, the Luna automatically switches to the second camera. But this also has lossless zoom technology, allowing 6x zoom, again with unchanged quality and resolution. Lastly, you can zoom all the way up to 12x, but this does start to use a digital crop, so do expect a lower quality video at this zoom level. The Pocket 4, on the other hand, does also feature a lossless zoom, however this only works for 2x. Anything above this is a digital crop, maxing out at 4x zoom. And on screen now is a side-by-side comparison of the available zoom amounts between both cameras. I personally find the 3x camera on the Luna great for capturing portraits or faces, as not only does it have less distortion, but introduces even more background blur, separating the subject from the background. The 3x tele-lens on the Luna also has a short close focusing distance, meaning it can also be used to capture macro shots. Both cameras record in 10-bit and also have a flat color log profile, I-log on the Luna and D-log on the Pocket 4. These capture a flatter image that better preserves highlights and shadows, giving you more flexibility to color grade the image and can result in a higher dynamic range once you have edited it. The Luna also has an additional color mode called Dolby Vision. Now this is an HDR display recording mode that allows highlights to be displayed brighter if played back on an HDR capable device such as modern smartphones. While the Pocket 3 had an HDR recording mode, this strangely was removed from the Pocket 4, so there's no longer one available. Now, when it comes to capturing sunrises or sunsets, both these cameras boast an impressive dynamic range of 14 stops. But looking at these side-by-side comparisons, which I captured during sunset, I think the Pocket 4 definitely handles high contrast scenes better, with more details in the shadows and providing a warmer image overall that better matched how it looked to the human eye. Now, one of the main benefits of a camera with a mechanical gimbal is getting smooth shots in low light, where normally electronic image stabilization, as seen on action cameras, starts to break down, showing vibration and jitters as there's not enough detail captured for it to work effectively. Both cameras feature a dedicated low light mode, which uses noise reduction algorithms to produce cleaner footage. Taking a look at these comparison shots, where there's relatively good street lighting or artificial light, both generally produce a bright and clean image. However, I have noticed two differences. First, in some shots, the Pocket 4 footage does contain more noise than the Luna Ultra, as seen here. And generally speaking, the Luna Ultra produces an image with better or more accurate white balance under artificial light, and this is likely due to a dedicated color balance sensor. Also worth mentioning that while the Luna can normally record in 8K, this gets capped at 4K 60 FPS in its dedicated low light mode, with the Pocket 4 being restricted to 4K 30 FPS. Both cameras allow for a fill light to be attached, with the Pocket 4 including it in the Creator combo, and this little light has the benefit of drawing power from the Pocket, so it never needs charged. While the Luna Ultra Creator combo does not come with a fill light. There is one available to purchase separately, however this does need charged independently, it only attaches to the Luna, it does not draw power from it. When it comes to slowing your shots down, the Pocket 4 does come out on top as it allows up to 4K 240 FPS recording, while the Luna Ultra maxes out at 120 FPS in 4K. You have to drop it down to 1080p for that 240 FPS mode. And while I believe both these cameras are geared more towards video, they can both capture stunning 37 megapixel images in JPEG or RAW. Some of the photos I've managed to capture, I have been incredibly impressed with. Both cameras also have fantastic tracking. It has to be said, I stress tested these in a range of ways. The first was moving around fast, making sudden turns, with both the Pocket 4 and Luna keeping a tight track of me at all times. The next was at distance, and this was made harder by the fact my clothes made me almost blend into the sand. Again, both worked flawlessly. As the tracking also works with people, vehicle or objects, I tried tracking my camera while having it change shape, moving it around a little, something that can fool a lot of tracking systems. But again, I could not get either of them to lose tracking. The last test was disappearing and reappearing, and while both initially managed to do this, I did notice if you stay hidden for around 5 seconds or more, when reappearing, only the Luna manages to pick you back up. The Pocket 4 must stop tracking once you have been out of sight for a longer amount of time. The Luna also has the benefit of being able to track you when zoomed in using that tele camera. Another small win for the Luna was when using face tracking. This keeps your face centered when vlogging, and throughout all the footage I captured, I noticed the Pocket 4's face tracking is quite jittery. It's constantly making small corrections that can make the footage look unstable. The Luna, on the other hand, seems to be less heavy-handed with this, making smoother movements and overall making the footage look less jittery. The Pocket 4 does have a benefit though, in that you can create profiles for individual people that it will then prioritize when tracking if you have multiple subjects or people in the shot. Now, something that can happen when tracking using either of these cameras is that the pan rotation of the gimbal can hit a limit, and this means it actually loses track of you because it can no longer continue to follow you around. Unlike Insta360 or DJI's latest smartphone gimbals, which feature unlimited pan rotation, the Luna and Pocket 4 both do not. This is something that would be fantastic to see added in future iterations. Looking at the range of motion on the gimbals between the two, and it's basically identical for the pan axis, with the limits being most restrictive when turning to the left, and also for the up and down tilt axis, as you can see in this test. In terms of stabilization, these two both perform excellent, with very little between them in this extreme comparison. You do still have to be careful of bobbing though, as a gimbal cannot really compensate for the Z or up and down axis, so for super smooth shots, you do need to be extra careful when walking. Both cameras have a long battery life. However, the Pocket 4 is ahead, achieving 3 hours and 24 minutes runtime in 4K 30, while the Luna achieves a lower but still impressive 2-hour runtime. However, Insta360 does include this battery extension handle in the Creator combo, which boosts the runtime, something not included in DJI's combo. One final difference worth mentioning is that the Pocket 4 comes with 107GB of internal storage, twice as much as the Luna Ultra at a lower 47GB, although both can be expanded with a microSD card. Both cameras also have wide-angle filters that can expand the field of view. So there you have it, a full breakdown of the differences between the current top pocket cameras on the market. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Which do you prefer and why? The DJI Pocket 4, the Insta360 Luna Ultra, or are you going to wait until the DJI Pocket 4P is officially released to make your mind up? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And when you're down there, be sure to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, as I have a full comparison of the three coming soon. Now before you go, if you liked this video and learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things pocket cameras, but also drones, action cameras, gimbals and more, and want to know all the best settings to get up and running quickly, along with tips and tricks that will allow you to get higher quality and more cinematic videos and better looking images with your gear, then be sure to check out my channel where I have a ton of content that will help you level up your game. If you want to stick around and watch a few more now, here's a few I personally recommend, and I'll not keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.